And here we are on episode 9 of 5 Minutes of Zen. Let's start the clock. On the last episode, I had mentioned that we were going to talk about intuition on this episode. And I think that's an appropriate word to understand. When we are attempting to have this moment of realization, of awakening, we have this in a way that is different than how you know most things. Most things that you know are known with a mediator. I think that would be the best word. There is a mediator there, and that mediator is your concepts and your language. You define things. So perhaps I look at an apple and I'm defining it. It's red, I bite it, it's sweet. There's all of this sensory mediation. I'm looking at it and seeing that it's red. Perhaps I smell it and I can even get a sense of that smell of an apple as opposed to a lemon. Biting it gives me that sense of taste. So how I know this apple is mediated through my senses and then my vocabulary. Sweet, red, all of these words that I've learned to help me understand the apple. So it's not a direct knowing. I know the apple through mediation. When something is unmediated, that you just know, that is an intuitive knowing, meaning it's direct. There's no mediation. You know it completely, immediately, and without any in-between. You don't even need language to explain it. Perhaps something that would be semi-unmediated would be something very hot. Now, it is mediated through the sense of touch, but as soon as we do it, we almost don't even need a word for it. We immediately react. We get it. We understand what's happening there. It's very hot, and we better pull away or we'll burn ourselves. But now we're getting into all kinds of concepts about hot or too hot. Burns flesh, it hurts for a long time, would better move the finger quick, those kinds of things. So when we talk about intuition, when we're meditating, what we're discussing is something that's direct, unmediated, sudden, and all at once. You don't kind of know it, you don't know some of it, and you aren't going to pick up more along the way. It's directly intuitive, and it's the whole thing. So you might be wondering, what then? What is it that we know in this way? What we know in this way is this concept of awakening or self-realization. If we go back a few episodes and talk about this term of veridicality, meaning something that has a very profound sense of reality or truth about it, we used examples of in a dream. The veridicality of the dream to the dreamer is there. It seems so real. You're doing these things. You don't seem to question in your dream why certain sequences of events aren't quite in order or why you can fly. But when you wake up and you observe, then there's more veridicality to the waking world than there was in a dream. Certainly dreams occur, but their content isn't necessarily a true, something that's real. When we awaken in meditation, the veridicality of that moment, of that intuitive knowledge of reality, and we're going to have to take that apart in a second, but the intuitive knowledge of that moment makes this waking world in which we converse and use language and senses less veridical than the awakening moment. And you might be unable to put your mind around that. And that should be how it is. You really can't know this until you do it. There are analogies. Try to describe the color of milk to a blind person. What are you going to tell them? It's white? What's white to them? They don't understand that. And you would go into all these explanations. It's just not something they can really know unless they ever had sight or could see it. Or the taste of sugar, if you can't taste it. You could describe sweetness to somebody, but what does that really mean? Sweet like a lemon? A lemon's also, you know what I mean. It's different. It's contextually different, and there's nuances to it. So intuition is the direct understanding of this moment that we were talking about in which you have awakening, in which there is this sudden, overwhelming sense that you have come to what you truly are, what this universe truly is. Now, can we back any of that up scientifically? Science is getting closer to agreeing that this universe might very well be, at its basis, pure consciousness. Until it gets there, meditation is probably the only vehicle, self-realization, the only vehicle that you might get this very profound sense that that is absolutely the truth. So that's intuition. We've gone well over our 5 minutes, so that's 5 minutes of Zen for this session, and I'll see you next time.